Hello, good morning from here. I'm your host, Rosemary Onoyiwaka Elebua. Today promises to be very exciting, and we shall be discussing on the topic screen time versus active play time for children. We all know that in today's world, the screen is really indispensable. Everybody wants to use the tab, the phones, the laptop, the iPad, to keep busy, to have fun, to learn new things. So, what are the impact of this screen time on kids? You and I know that everything that is in excess has some last. Yes, it's trendy. I need to get my kids to, to have a tab, to have the latest gadgets. And you and I do agree that most times this tab could serve as a tool to improve their creativity, like learning fast and other things. So this morning, hello,
Hi,
say
good
to
morning.
you, good morning from here, good afternoon to you. How are you today?
No, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well,
Wow,
thank you.
it's
Good
good to
afternoon.
see you again. Happy New Year, officially. Nice to meet you. So, good morning, everyone. We have our guest in the house. Like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about screen time versus active play. And it's in line with the theme of this season of our parenting series, nurturing independent thinkers and emotional resilience in children. So our guest speaker, she's live, she's online now, and she's ready to give it to us. What are the advantages of screen time over active play? Or what are the advantages of active play over screen time? Over to you, madam. May we know you before you start? I celebrate
Thank
small,
you.
small. Okay.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Sumiwa Anibare, child and adult therapist and an educator. I've been in the education field for over a decade now, a decade and a half. So yes, it's been quite an interesting experience and interesting journey for me. Thank you very much, Rose. Thank you for having me.
Wow. You've heard it. She's a very passionate lady. And to this morning, we're going to be learning a lot from her. So over to you, mother. I have a question this morning. So what do you say are why are kids lately so attracted to the screen? Why are kids so attracted to the screen lately?
One word, instant gratification.
Instant
That is it.
gratification.
Gratification. Now, as individuals, we believe that when we want something, it has to happen. So I want this thing now, and I need it to happen now. So it's either now or never. That's the same reason that children are addicted to the screen.
Wow.
So children feel bored, or children feel tired or stressed, and because they do not even know how to communicate these feelings or wants or needs, they look for something else to replace it. So in the bid to suppress what they are feeling at the moment, they look for another thing to replace that gratification. So instead of processing how they feel, instead of processing what they feel, and think of how to meet the need, the exact need, they pick up something else. For instance, I'm hungry, and instead of going into my kitchen to prepare a meal, I just okay, so what do I have that will satisfy this hunger for now? And then I go for junk. That is what screen time is. So the reason children are addicted to this is because they just want something to satisfy that want at the moment. They're not satisfying the need itself, but satisfying the want.
Oh,
That's why we have a lot of people who are screen junkies, screen junkies. And of course, by nature, children are curious. Children are curious. So when they feel a certain way, they want to know why they feel that way, and they might not even be interested in knowing why they feel that way. They just want something to take that feeling off. So the distraction, something to just distract them from how they feel at the time. And that is what it does. It's just distraction and entertainment. So that's why we have what we have today.
okay. So you said something now. You did say that is actually is like taking something in place, to fill a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Instant gratification.
Gratification.
So, what are the healthy ways these kids can fill up that vacuum? I want to believe that biologically these are triggered by hormones, which are healthy hormones in them, or So, how do they fill up this vacuum instead of staying on the screen all time? And and after the screen time, they get the same feeling again. The void is still there.
Now, in when children feel a certain way or when they have certain needs, it's important to decipher what they need. For instance, if a child is cranky, you want to know why that child is cranky. Is it food? Is it water? Does the child need to use the restroom? Is the child tired? Is the child stressed? Was the child upset and didn't know how to process that emotion? Did the child have a struggle in school and he didn't know how to communicate that struggle? Did that child have a hard time generally in school? Because, for instance, even we as adults, there are days that we have emotional meltdown
Yeah.
as a result of accumulated stress. This stress will come from work, it could come from personal challenges, it could come from overthinking, it could come from anything at all. Now, when we are not able to decipher what the problem is, we begin to struggle in our emotions. When we struggle in our emotions, we are looking for different things to solve this problem. But then, sitting in front of the TV and watching a movie is not the solution. So instead of sitting in front of the screen, instead of positioning that child in front of the screen, okay, take tab, okay, take my phone and play game, okay, sit in front of the computer, that is not the solution. The solution is find out what the problem is and nip it at the bud. Okay, so do you feel tired? Or how exactly do you feel? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel like there's so much on your mind and you don't even know how to process it from there? When you now figure out what the problem is, you can say, okay, so when you feel this way, we should take a break, take some time off and rest. When you feel this way, you might probably need to drink water or take an air, take a walk, stress. Because children and adults alike, there are times that we feel a certain way and we need to be able to process this feeling. So the script is not it. The solution is process your when you figure out why you feel the way you feel, then deal with what the problem is.
Okay.
Deal with the challenge itself. Rather than taking it as and distracting yourself from that particular situation.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. So I have this question. So how does excessive screen time impact a child's ability to think creatively?
Now, what excessive screen time does is, like I said, what excessive screen time does is, we started with instant gratification. So you are just there and you are working. The brain is not doing any work.
Wow.
The brain is only taking in.
Mm.
And the truth is, bulk of the time, as long as you are exposed to screen time for entertainment, there is no information that is good.
Really? Wow.
The child is only watching. The child is for children now, not for adults now. For children, the child is only watching moving images. Except when the child is co-viewing, there is an adult to put the child through. So by co-viewing, I mean when you place your child in front of the TV, there's an adult there, and you are saying, okay, so this is color red. Did you see what she watched? So you are engaging that child in what that child is watching. That is what we mean by co-viewing.
Wow.
Okay. Now the only way to the way that screen affects children is when they are not able to make sense of what they are watching on screen, they struggle with the information. So so I'm back to track now. So what it does is the brain is not processing anything. You are just watching. So you're taking in, you are consuming.
Okay.
You are not processing what you're
Just
taking in.
consuming.
So that can be developed during active play, not being developed during. So most times, individuals use screen as instant gratification or as pacifier.
Oh,
So don't disturb me. Go and watch cartoon. Take, go and play game. Go and do this on the screen. So we use that as pacifier. We use that to while away the child's time or to buy time for
yes.
ourselves while our children are consuming screen. And that is not healthy because the brain is dormant in that time. Now, not only is the brain dormant, another thing the screen does is it provides standard. So when a child faces faces a problem, the child has to go back and think, what do I need to do to get the answer to this? But instead, what the screen does is when you position the front of that child, the child is seeing a problem and at the same time the screen is answering that problem. The child is seeing a problem and at the same time the screen is providing solutions to that problem. That is not teaching the child to think. That is not teaching the child to use the mental strength. That's not teaching the child to build or even challenge anything because the child is just dormant in that time. So that is not beneficial in any way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that. So you did say from what I got that it's actually excessive screen time does it shuts down the child's ability to solve problem.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Ability to solve problems, ability to procure solutions,
Okay.
ability to process their emotions or their feelings is shut down while they are playing on.
Okay. So what can you say is the advantage of active play over screen play? And how does it help to build the child's resilience in future?
I'll start with a narrative.
Okay.
So most times when we say our children are playing rough or the child is playing outside and the child comes back and says, Mommy, I bruised my knee. You as the parent, you are quick to feel, oh my God, my child just felt hurt. For that child, that's not what it is. The fact that that child fell, and stood up and continued, is resilience. So the fact that that child came and said, Mommy, I fell down, the child did not come so that you stop him from playing. The child came because he felt hurt and he wants his feeling, the way he felt, to be validated. It is not for you to stop his learning process. So, Mommy, I fell down, my knee hurt. Oh, so you treat the knee, send the child back to go and keep playing. When that child is playing, the child is learning to interact with his or her immediate environment. The child is learning focus.
Focus.
So when children are playing, you play too much. It is not you play too much. That child is learning a major life skill that will translate into adulthood. So the child is learning focus. The child is learning emotional intelligence. So when the child is, for instance, if the child is playing Ludo and you have probably killed the child's game, let me say that, quote and unquote, you've sent the dice back to the house a couple of times and the child is playing. That child is learning resilience. That child is learning to come back even when you face challenges.
Okay.
Now, when that child is also playing that game, that child is also learning intelligence. The child is learning the moves of that game. The child is learning problem solving. The child is learning emotional resilience. The child is learning critical thinking.
That,
Okay, so if I
yeah,
move
yeah.
this,
Critical
this
thinking.
thing will send my phone back. So instead of moving this, let me take another one. The child is thinking even while playing. So the child is learning life skills that can apply even in adulthood.
Okay.
These are some of the benefits that we have when we allow our kids to engage in active play as against screen time or screen
Okay.
entertainment.
Wow, that's amazing. So by active playing, they get to learn critical thinking, problem solving ability. They get to learn, social skills, adversity skills and the rest. Thank you so much for that. Well, like I said earlier, we cannot do without the screen lately. Even when we send these
Yeah.
kids to schools, they do expose them. There are schools where they
Most,
are exposed without our knowledge. So,
mhm.
what do you think should be the recommended screen time back at home where we have control? How can we make these kids know that we love them, we don't want to hurt them, and we mean the best for them?
Okay. Now, in exposing our children to screen, World Health Organization has a guideline.
Okay.
Sorry, American Academy for Pediatrics, they also have a guideline for screen time.
Okay.
For children between the ages of 0 to 2, they don't have a business on the screen.
Wow.
That's what World Health Organization said.
No
That's the same
business.
Academy of Pediatrics also. So children ages 0 to 2 years don't have a business on the screen.
Wow.
Now, from ages 2 to 5,
Okay.
less than 1 hour
Less than 1
a day.
hour a day.
1 hour a
Wow.
day. So all of the movies that we allow our children to watch excessively is absolutely shutting down the brain. Less than 1 hour a day for children ages 2 to 5. Now, for children between the ages of 6 to 13, it is minimum of 2, maximum rather of 2 hours, between 1 to 2 hours a day.
Wow.
Now, all of these contents will be educational content, not entertainment.
Not entertainment.
Educational, not
Wow.
entertainment.
Wow.
Educational content. And in these educational contents, they are advised to be co-viewing. So there's an adult figure there that is guiding them to what they're watching, helping them to make sense what they're watching. Now, for ages 0 to 2, the only screen they can be allowed to is probably video call. So a relative is on the phone and you want your child to speak with the relative. That is the only time you can expose your child to video call. Video call, not TV, not tablets or game, not any of those video calls. Now, for ages 13 to 18 or 13 and above, they can also be exposed to screen within the limit of 2 hours, but it should also be educational. So it is not that they're watching TV for fun, but they are watching and they are picking life skills. If, for instance, your children need to watch a movie, they are not just watching a movie for entertainment purposes. They are watching a movie for picking life. This is why co-viewing is important. So if, for instance, you want your children to learn resilience, there are movies that teach some of these skills, but then you have to sit with them. So at intervals, you pause the movie and ask, okay, so for instance, my daughter's favorite movie is Raya and the Last Dragon. So when she's watching that, we sit together. Okay, so why did Raya do this thing to me?
Okay.
How do you feel about it? That particular movie teaches resilience, it teaches comeback, it teaches problem solving, rigor, because that child she was so focused. It teaches focus, teaches determination, concentration. So there are lots of, so while you're saying you want your children to watch movies, let it be that you are co-viewing with them, you are engaging while they are watching. So that is the duration, the screen time duration recommended by World Health Organization and American for Pediatrics, AAP. Yes.
Wow, amazing. You said something that really struck me now. You just gave guidelines. In fact, you just gave the time span with which kids should be exposed to the screen. So permit me to ask this question. Are you trying to say that a parent could also be an abuser? So when when you expose the kids to too much of it, we are enabling it. So how do we cope that?
Yes.
Imagine instead of building, you are abusing. So how do we manage that? Where is the balance?
Now, when we say we don't want to expose our children to screen, it is not just shutting down the screen completely and creating a vacuum. No. When you shut down the screen completely and you create a vacuum, it is worse. Because at that time, the tantrums will go and you as the parents will be frustrated. So it's going to be an effort in futility. Now, what do? If you are going to take away the screen from your child, first things first, it has to be a gradual process.
Okay, gradual process.
It's not going to be 100. If your children are already used to the screen, it has to be a gradual process. So you cut it down gradually, and then in those time gap, you replace them with active. And for starters, you're not just going to push them and say, go and solve the puzzle or go and play Ludo, go and do this. No, it is going to be a you and them journey. It is two of you together because it is something that you're just teaching them. So because you're just teaching them, because you're just exposing them to it, you're going to stay with them teach them until they have gained mastery, until they have learned to stay independently. So when they have mastered the ability to stay on their own independently, at that point, then yes, you may not necessarily have to engage with them. That doesn't eliminate the place of child and parents bonding. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that you're trying to remove the screen and replace it with something else, be actively involved in the process. It's a process. It's not just going to happen all of a sudden. It is a process, but it's a very rewarding process.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. That was amazing. You said something that just struck me again, and there's a question that just came in now. Someone is asking, how does this excessive screen time, how does it affect the brain development of children? Because you said earlier that according to the WHO guideline, a child between age 0 to 2 should not be exposed to, is it more than an hour on screen, right? But we have kids lately, we keep them on CoComelon, either the tab, the phone, or the TV, and we while away time. So, how does this affect the brain development, the skills, and their ability to learn and grow into adulthood?
Okay, so now research has shown that excessive screen exposure hampers cognitive development of any child.
Any child.
Now there are children who struggle with emotional regulation. There are children who struggle with self-soothing when they are upset and they don't know what to do because they are upset. So for some children, I once saw, when I was much younger, there was a boy around my mom's environment where when this boy is upset, he will stay by the wall and start hitting his head on the wall.
Well, I read a similar story.
And see it, I would cringe. Like, I'm afraid for this boy because the damage that can do to his mental health, the damage that can do to his brain,
physically and emotionally.
Most times, just keep him and say when he's done getting upset, he will calm down. And I'm like, no, take that child away from that environment. Put him in a place where he cannot hurt himself.
Yeah.
But because that child has not learned to self-regulate, that child has not learned to regulate his emotions, that is a disadvantage of excessive exposure to screen.
Wow.
Yeah. So it hampers cognitive development, it hampers emotional development, it hampers self-regulation, it hampers the ability to actually identify your emotions. All of these things have a role to play in the excessive exposure. You are faced with one challenge and you give up. In our last class, the last class that we had, we talked about how children struggle with procuring solutions and then leading to picking up in problems. So they feel like this problem is one very big problem, and then they give up. Instead of finding a way to solve that problem and get to the bottom of it.
Wow.
So when children are exposed to screen excessively, they struggle. There's something recently I learned about screen time autism.
What did you call that?
Now, screen time autism.
Okay, autism, screen time autism.
It has not been 100% scientifically proven yet, but it's been discovered that children who are exposed to screen excessively, when they want that screen and you don't give it to them, they throw tantrums.
Wow.
That is because they are used to it, an addiction. They are addicted to the screen. They are used to the screen. So when you take them away, they begin to throw tantrums. They begin to look for something else to distract themselves, even if it is hurting them. Which is an example of the child banging his head or hitting himself, throwing a tantrum, excessive rage, excessive tantrum, because they are not able to express the emotion. They are not. And then another thing is, when a child is on the screen for too long, that child is dormant, not doing anything, no physical activity. It affects the health.
Yeah, obesity. Yeah.
Obese because they do not burn the energy that they are supposed to burn.
I read that.
So that is a medical problem. It's a health problem waiting somewhere.
Okay, wow.
So you can see that the impact of excessive excessive screen exposure, it goes beyond what we even think as parents. And we cannot afford to be ignorant. Our ignorance is costing our children a
Too
lot.
much.
As parents, they shouldn't be the ones paying for our ignorance.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
That's really
sorry.
amazing.
Another impact is that how it affects attention span.
Okay.
Children who are used to the screen are able to. Children who are used to the screen are able to. Please hold on. My Instagram has a timer, so
Hello.
focus attention. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Have you been able to fix it now?
I need to fix it. Just give me a few seconds, please.
Okay.
Yes.
If it's got a
I'm not.
timer, you just let it run. Then I'm going to it's going to take it off. Then I'm going to invite you to come back in. So just
Okay, that
if you
works. Then.
experience that, I'm going
That,
to do that. Okay.
yes, that works. Thank you.
Okay.
So when children struggle with screen time, it affects their attention span. So when you're asking a child to do this activity and the child is struggling to do the activity, it's because the child is used to the screen. So the child is not able to stay coordinated for so long or stay focused for so long because he's used to seeing fast moving
Fast
images.
moving.
So because those images don't stay longer than probably 30 seconds, and they move on to the next thing. The same way, that child doesn't want to stay focused on a task for longer than that period and move on to the next thing. So it's a disadvantage, it's not an advantage.
Okay.
It affects the attention span as well, alongside a lot of other impacts.
Wow. Thank you for that. I did read recently, in addition to what you just said, it's obvious that it affects physically the health of the children, not just the physical health. It also affects their ability to manage emotion. Because I read something that said children that tend to stay on the screen too much have tendencies to grow up to become very aggressive in future because they are used to fast moving, tech. They want everything that they go. They can't be patient enough. So this triggers a lot of unhealthy behavior. So thank you so much for that. So I have a question again, and it's like, so where does active play come in against the apps? Recently we've got so many apps. We've got ABCD's app. We've got apps to help your kids learn how to read and write. We also got apps to help them become game experts. And you and I know that the games, they have some advantages in terms of ability to solve problems. So how do we manage this? These digital apps, they are everywhere. How do we come in? How do we blend it such that they don't, cause a problem while trying to solve another problem?
Okay, we talked about how that each individual should have a limited exposure to the screen.
Yeah.
Now, because most of the time we have scenarios where for instance, I'm probably learning coding. It's will tell you I'm learning
Yes.
coding on my laptop,
Exactly.
or I'm learning a particular skill. The truth of the matter is, all of these things are life skills. So from like I said, from age 6 to about age 13, you can be exposed to the screen for about 1 to 2 hours, maximum 2 hours in a
In a
day,
day.
which means learning app that they are using has to be within this regulated period of time. Because excessive exposure is also not good for development. So while you are trying to learn coding, while you are trying to learn UI UX, while you're trying to learn website designing, you can't even focus on these things longer than 2 hours. Individuals also have
Yeah.
their attention span. So the longer you stay on this, you know that even you yourself will be mentally fatigued.
Mentally
And
practice.
when you're mentally fatigued, you can't take in anything. So the safest is to dwell within the duration that has been recommended.
Okay. So that is a good one. So we need to stick with the guidelines. The WHO and the America Pediatrics guidelines concerning screen time. Now,
Yes, yes.
I have the big question that just came in. I know you did answer it earlier. How do we deal with people that are already addicted to screen? I had an experience recently. I was to teach a set of kids somewhere in one of our religious organizations. I noticed that these kids, they do struggle to pay attention. And the only way that you can make them to pay attention, if you forcefully tell them, please take away these things, I need your attention. And as soon as they are done with it, they go back to the screen. That is a subtle addiction. How do you deal with this? Not in your home now, but in your workplace, without considering an offense. Hello? So this
Now,
is not just the home now. How do I deal with this in my work environment with kids that are not related to me? I am not connected to kids that I do not have, the right or the privilege to correct because we do not have a familiar relationship.
first, it starts with parental orientation.
Okay.
Why is my child having to go out of the home with a device? When we are going, why are we going out? Are we going to church? Are we going to school? If my child is going to school, why is my child going to school with a device? If my child is going to church, why is my child going to church with a device and not a Bible and a notepad? So it starts with parental orientation. If we are going out to spend time as a family, or we are going out to hang out, why do I need my phone to hang out? So it starts with parental orientation. For you to set a goal as a caregiver, permit me to say, because with children in your care, you are a caregiver. So for you to set a goal and achieve your goal as a caregiver, the parents of those children also have to be on the same page with you.
Wow.
If they are not on the same page, it's going to be an effort. It's going to be a waste of effort because you're going to be saying they do not need these devices in this location, whereas the parents are saying let them have it. It's going to be a conflict. It's going to be a conflict. So for you to achieve this, you have to be on the same page with the parents of the children involved. So when, for instance, like you said, it's a religious environment. So when you're coming to church, we advise that your children do not come to church with their phones because we need them to be able to focus on the service, concentrate on the service. Of course, because there are certain environments that operate liberally, children might still have these devices, but then there has to be guidelines. So maybe have a place where those children will probably drop the devices till the service is over or till the event is over. Then afterwards, they can pick their devices, probably register devices or something. But then it depends on what your environment makes provision for.
What's your environment? So the environment comes into play, the parents involved comes into play to avoid conflict and creating unnecessary problem. And there's just
Yes.
this last question before you take over. Someone just asked, what about a situation where the parent is addicted to the screen? Wow.
You see, Amber, not give us you don't have. Oh. If I am addicted to my screen,
Okay.
I can't help children.
Oh, wow.
Because if I am saying I don't want my children on the screen, my children are always seeing me on the screen. It's not going to be helpful for them. For instance, I work from home. And because I work from home, it's quite difficult for me.
Yeah.
But recently, I had to tell the boss, whatever I am doing, my children return from school by 2 p.m. Between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., my children need to see me away from my phone.
Wow.
So that when I tell them I need some time to round up work, please give me 1 hour between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. They understand. But if my children see that mom is always on the phone, then what justification do I have to take them off the screen? So screen is tablet, screen is laptop, screen is computer, screen
Your phone,
is
everything.
screen, whatever device,
TV.
they are screens.
Screen is screen. Okay.
So while I'm saying do not want my children on the screen, I cannot be glued to my device and be preaching otherwise. You cannot give what you don't have. So you have to start making.
Wow. Amazing. I was thinking that was going to be the last question, but permit me to take this last one now. I promise this is going to be the last. There's a question here. So, what do you think is the right age to give a child a phone, a cell phone? What is the right age? I can afford it. I have it at my disposal. You know, he or she, the kids, they've got friends in schools, classmates. They go to school, they see their project. You know, play with their phones. I don't want my kids to feel bad. So, when and what age is right to give a child a phone?
I'll answer that question by starting with another question. What is the right age to give a child a loaded gun? Because what we are doing is, when you give your child a phone, you are exposing that child to a world that is absolutely out of your control as a parent. You are giving that child the go ahead to explore the world beyond what you have taught him or her. So before you give your child that device, have you taught your child screen management? Have you taught your child media management? Have you taught your child what to do on the social media? Because when you give a phone, you won't determine what that child does with the phone.
Exactly.
You can only say, okay, so I gave you this phone, but I don't want you to install. You can't even tell the child what not to do with the phone. The only way to not do that is to not expose the child in the first place. So if you think that you want to expose your child to a phone, there is no right age to it. The right age would be that you have properly equipped your child with the skills needed to survive across all platforms on social media.
Wow.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, every social media platform. Because child is not going to, even if you say you're going to monitor the use of that device, why give a child a device that you know the child cannot handle? Because the fact that you have to monitor also means you think that child needs to be able to make guided decisions. Why expose the child to it in the first place? So until you are convinced that your child can handle the pressure that comes even on the social media space, on Instagram, not everything you see that glows that is actually glowing. It's not all that glitters is not gold, like we say. So it is not everything you see on the social media that's actually going on mostly in the background. But what people post on the social media space is the smooth part of it. Can your children handle the pressure that comes with that? If they cannot, please, they don't have a business handling a device.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
To develop tech service skills. Except those devices develop tech skills. And of course, you don't need Instagram to develop tech skills. You don't need social media to develop tech skills. For instance, a 6-year-old child can begin to learn Microsoft PowerPoint to prepare slides, to do coding, introduction to coding, and all of that. The child doesn't need the social media space for that.
Yes, exactly.
The duration might probably be 30 minutes or max 1 hour. Child is old. And even for that, it is a guided exposure.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So, viewers, you have heard from children and adolescent enthusiastic, Mrs. Omolayo. She did say that you must have equipped the child properly. Remember, we did say Google is out there. There's every information in Google, but what wisdom have you put into the child? And someone drew my attention lately. He said, do you know you are older than Google? So why should you rely on Google? Google was born in 1998. So
every information on Google.
Yes. So you have heard from this lady, you have heard from this expert, How much of these skills have you put in? How well have you developed those children? Because when we talk about screen time, exposure to the internet, we're going to be talking about sex education, tech education, media education, adversity, even financial skills. So
Yes,
you have heard
yes.
from Mrs. Molayo. It's a really deep, deep word there. So, madam, I don't know if you have any other thing to tell us, but before you tell us your last words for tonight, thank you so much for being a part of this session. We have learned a lot. I personally have learned a lot. You have taught me that screen time is got some advantage, and also, active play. So I think I need to be actively involved, playing myself so I don't grow to become too big. I can see the reason why you are still fit. But
You
thank
know
you
that
so much.
you know it actually helps us to de-stress.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
As adults, when you get home and you are agitated, you're probably yelling or you're shouting, feel stressed. All you need to do is just go outside and play. Even if it's 5 minutes of active play as an adult, 5 minutes of active play helps you to de-stress.
so
How much
this,
more for children?
wow.
Active play is very important in the emotional skill of children, the emotional development of children,
Wow. Great.
even adults. That is why there are developed countries that in the work environment, they have a playroom.
Yeah, yeah.
They have playroom. So that is to tell you that the place of active play can never be overemphasized.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. So I don't know if you have anything to say out there to our viewers before we call it a day. What do you have to say to
So
all of
to
us?
our viewers, parents, teachers, caregivers, I would encourage us that in all that we do, whilst we want to expose our children to devices, whilst we want our children to also be aware of what's going on in the environment, what's most important for them is developing life skills. And the only way to develop these life skills is by learning. How do they learn? By getting actively involved in their learning process. When they are exposed to screen, they are not actively learning. They are just watching. They are dormant. The brain is dormant. So the only way to actively learn is to be actively involved. And the only way to be actively involved is to do something. So in their learning, they have to be doing. They
Do
have
it.
to be involved. So as much as possible, please let's engage our children with active play so that see the skills we need them to work. Do you also know that they also know how to resolve conflicts during play?
Wow.
So all of those times where your children are playing and they are shouting, "Mom, come and see," they are learning conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution. Yeah.
About playing. When they play with people, they see that you do something and do not, they address it, resolve it then. That is conflict resolution. They won't learn conflict resolution on the screen.
And yeah.
They will learn it when they are actively involved. So please, let's try to engage our children in active play, active learning,
Active
active play.
and active.
What else for? Yes,
Wow.
thank you very much. Super great. Thank
Wow.
you so much.
Thank you so much. This session is really an eye opener for me. I'm really blessed. I know my viewers out there, they've learned one or two things. And in fact, permit me to say this session has balanced the last one we did. Remember the questions that a few people were asking, screen is for this, screen is for that. Are you trying to say we should cut it off? I shouldn't buy this. So this has really answered it. This is a balance. Thank you so much, Ma. I really celebrate you. I say a very big thank you to you. And we will look forward to having you again. So please, you can do where to follow my lovely lady. Your Instagram handle, Ma, Olive Resources.
Sources 23.
Yes. So please follow Olive Resources 23 on Instagram, and she's also got a lot of materials to help you to to develop your kids. So I will encourage you. You can also chat her up. She's going to give you the relevant information. She's got age appropriate tools to help develop your children. Thank you, Ma, for being live with us on Instagram. Thank you so much. We celebrate you. We look forward to having you again. God bless you.
Thank
You have a great day. Much
you
love.
so much.
Love you.
Happy bye.
Bye. Hello, that was an amazing session with Mrs. Omolayo. It was really, really enlightening, and we got to learn about the advantages of screen time versus active play. We can see both are not bad, both are not, they are not like an object or subject of distraction or attraction, but the key word is balance. So when you expose your kids to the screen, make sure there's a balance. And when they play hard there, make sure there's a balance because both do have some advantages. And she did say something which I got, even as adults, stay away from the screen and do evolve in some active play, some active exercise, because this is important for your mental well-being, emotional well-being, and your whole life self. I look forward to having you again. Thank you for joining us once more. I remain your host. I am Rosemary Onoyiwaka Ilebua. Do well to follow this page for more and more educational, enlightening, and well-built topic to help develop you and your family. Thank you once again. Bye for now.